Syracuse football received some pretty good news over the past 24 to 48 hours. They made a top 5 list for a 4-star defensive lineman by the name of Zahmar Tookes. The other schools that are involved are Florida, Tennessee, Penn State, and Nebraska. So this would be a pretty good deal if Syracuse football can also land Zahmar Tookes. Number 1, he is the best player in the state of New York. It is not a consensus. He is from Rochester, New York. It is not very, it is very close to Syracuse. I almost said it's not very far. It's close to Syracuse football. 24/7 Sports has Tookes as a 4-star player, top 250 overall in the nation, and the number 1 overall player in the state of New York. 24/7 Sports regular has him as a very high-end 3-star recruit and the number 2 overall rated player in the state of New York. And look, New York, for all the great things about the state of New York, obviously Syracuse is one of those great things that's in the state of New York, right? It's not exactly a football recruiting hotspot, which makes it even more imperative that when these types of recruits become available, that Syracuse is able to get them. Last year, in what was a very good recruiting class for Syracuse football. Don't get me wrong, it was very good. But it could have been better if they had secured 4-star wide receiver Messiah Hampton, who was also from Rochester, New York, different high school, though. He ultimately went to Oregon. A big reason why he went to Oregon was because he was following wide receivers coach Ross Douglas, who left Syracuse to go to Oregon earlier in the offseason. And look, that recruitment and that commitment to Oregon, it definitely stung for us Syracuse fans, if you remember that time. It was certainly made up for the fact that not long after Syracuse and Fran Brown, they were able to get Calvin Russell out of Florida. So it ended up okay. I mean, I know he got injured and all that, but that's not something that Syracuse can control. It ended up working out that Syracuse got Calvin Russell. But my point is that highly recruits, particularly like Zahmar Tookes, they don't come around very often from the state of New York. And that's obviously Syracuse's home state. So when they become available, you want to do all you can to actually be able to secure the best talent in the Northeast. In this case, obviously your home state, New York. Number 2, he's another 4-star player. So far, and I've said this a number of times here on the show already, if you look at Syracuse's 2027 recruiting class, it's not one player in that class that on one major recruiting service has at least a 4-star rating. That is ESPN 4-star Xavier Bala. And it would be nice if Syracuse can land another highly rated prospect, which goes back to the whole disclaimer about recruiting rankings. There's no guarantee that since Zahmar Tookes is a 4-star player, a 4-star defensive lineman, that he is going to work out. There's no guarantee. These star ratings are obviously not perfect. We all know this. It's really just a probability game. A 5-star recruit has a better probability of success at the next level than a 3-star recruit. Same with a 4-star. Higher probability to be successful than a 3-star. So if you continuously stack these highly rated prospects, some of them are going to end up being really good for you. They are going to end up working out. Some of them won't. And it's all about the ultimate hit rate of these players. I mean, think about the same teams year over year that are always consistently good and look at the players they're getting out of high school and where they're rated, and you'll see my point. And in the case of Zahmar Tookes, this is another 4-star player, top 250 overall in the nation on 24/7 Sports Composite. This would be a pretty big get for Syracuse football if they can get him, and they're in the top 5, which is obviously good news. Where is Syracuse at in the race for Zahmar Tookes? It's honestly pretty tough to say right now. I don't see Syracuse listed as one of the schools getting an official visit for him. Normally, I would say this is not exactly a good thing for Syracuse that they're so far not listed for an official visit. But if you remember back during the Calvin Russell commitment time, he also did not officially visit Syracuse over the summer before ending up at Syracuse. In fact, he visited basically everywhere else before saying, I'm going to Syracuse verbally, right? He visited Florida, LSU, Oregon, Miami, Florida State, and Michigan. They all got the OVs before Russell said, you know what? I think it was like his birthday party or sometime in July. I'm going to Syracuse. I know that he was on campus for like the spring game and had been on campus earlier. We get all that. But back to Tookes. On3 does say that he has been to Syracuse's campus before. It was actually back in November of 2024. I think it was the same day as when Syracuse beat Miami in late November. So he's unofficially visited campus. He's from Rochester. That's not exactly far from Syracuse if he really wants to make the trip. I don't think it's the end of the world that so far they're not being listed as a school to get an official visit, but that could obviously change between now and sometime over the summer. So we'll continue to update you on that. As far as a decision date is concerned, this is one of those I think we're going to have to file away for now because I don't see anything that's listed as far as a timetable for when he's going to commit. All we know so far is that Syracuse is in the race. They are in the top 5 for 4-star defensive lineman Zahmar Tookes, and the other schools that are involved, again, as I scroll back up here in my notes, those other schools are Florida, Tennessee, Penn State, and Nebraska. It would be a big deal. The other thing, and I shouldn't have left this out, but I'm going to say it now, it's a premium position. It's a defensive lineman. Offensive line, defensive line, incredibly difficult to recruit out of high school. Other positions are great. But as Brian Smith, host of the Locked On Portal podcast and Locked On Seminoles will tell you, getting these linemen, getting quality linemen out of high school, very, very difficult. This is a 4-star guy who plays a premium position. No wonder why there are some big schools that are also pursuing him. So hopefully Syracuse, like Nasir Anderson earlier with basketball, in the case of football, they can end up landing Zahmar Tookes.